talked about this a little bit before, but I sort of had a revelation today about what it really is. And it's something that's taken me a long time to learn, and it's taken me too long, way too long to learn. And I spent a lot of years hustling backwards, okay? And what I mean by winning the game of life is, first of all, understanding that it's a game of life to be played. And secondly, the win comes from the enjoyment, okay? The guy who's winning at life is not about the most money or the biggest dick or the hottest girlfriend. None of that means anything if you're not enjoying it. Because the girls and the money, all that stuff is the reason you're chasing that is because at some point in your life you had this imprint like, oh, if I get all these things, I'm gonna be happy. And what happens though is if you're a really competitive person, like I am, or at least, this is the way I used to approach things. It was always in comparison to lack of. Okay, I have to get this to this level. I have to get to this level. And if I'm not on that level, I'm not happy. If I'm at the level I'm at, I'm not happy. And this is such a toxic and poison way to live. There is always someone with a bigger dick, or younger, or stronger, or taller, or more money, or even if you have the most money in the world right now, next year someone's going to come along and be number one on the Forbes list. Like, there's always someone better. Always, 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 always. And I'm not saying competition's a bad thing, okay? I think it's great to say, all right, I see where that guy's at. Let me hit his level, and then let me get ahead of him, okay? That's a great thing. But you have to enjoy getting there. And you also have to respect game. So if you see a guy that's doing better than you, first thing you should think is, instead of fuck this guy, like, okay, what does that guy have that I need, right? If I see a guy and I like his channel, or I like what he's doing in his articles, I'm going to go right away to stealing from that guy. I'm going to take the best things of what he has, and then I'm going to make that mine. And instead of saying, fuck this guy, or why does this guy have that, it's totally, totally, totally wrong. Same thing if I meet a guy in person who's doing really well, or who's just doing better, right? It's like, what can I learn from that dude? The same goes for anything that you want in life. Anything. You model it, you compete, but you do it in a way that you're not you're enjoying it, right? It's like, when I used to play soccer, if I lost, I would have a tantrum, right? I wouldn't shake hands with the other team. I was a little monster, okay? But the way to do it is, if you're playing, right? If you're playing soccer, you're playing to enjoy, you're playing to win. And if you lose at the end of the day, well, that team was better that day. Or, you lost to a guy, he was a better man, shake hands. Just accept that he was better. Next time you're going to try and come out and be better. And the competition and the challenge is with yourself. Like, let me see how far I can take myself in the game of life. Okay, I have certain limitations and certain strengths, and I might not be ever going to be the best at this, or the best looking, or this and that. But let me just play this to my fullest ability. Let me play my hand to the best that I can. Let me see what I can do with the cards that I've been dealt. All right, and that's a beautiful thing. Is like, for me, it's always a beautiful thing to watch the story of the guy who wasn't dealt a particularly good hand. He grew up in a poor neighborhood, and maybe his mom wasn't around, or his parents abandoned him or something like that, and he pulled it together and somehow got out of that situation. And maybe he wasn't the smartest guy, or he wasn't this or that, but that's like, look what he did with those cards, right? What can you do with your cards, and can you make sure that you're enjoying that journey? Can you make sure that you're enjoying the game of life? Like, there's this girl in Chiang Mai that I know. She's a hardcore Buddhist, and she has a little coffee shop and she just emanates like peace and love. And she wants to be a Buddhist nun, but she can't because her parents won't let her, and she, has to give money and to support her parents. And there is nothing about this girl, and I'm not talking about it in a sexual way at all. She just emanates love and happiness, and she's shitting all over whatever success that I have, even though she makes a small fraction of the money, because her world is just so peaceful and loving. And you can see it in the way that she walks and the way that she talks. And this is someone who doesn't have much money. She's sworn off men for the last couple of years. She's focused seriously on, enlightenment and understanding of the self. And on that level, she's so far advanced. But if you just compare her on just the game of life of money and status and all that stuff, it's not even existent. But she is winning the game of life. She's doing a lot better than I am because of her levels of just happiness and peace. And you can just feel it by being around her. Okay. And honestly, when I every time I walk away, I'm trying to think, what can I take from her? What can I do that she's doing that I'm not doing? How do I get to that higher level of consciousness? And I sat down with her the other day, and I just grilled her for like 2 hours about what her inner reality is like, how much. And I'm serious, right? This is not some type of humble brag or anything. I'm serious. I'm like, that girl is destroying whatever I have, and I want to get some of that, right? And it's totally, especially over the last two years, when you hear me talking about quality of life and happiness and all that stuff, I realize that's what it's about. Okay, don't get me wrong, money and girls and all that stuff is still very important, but you frame it in terms of the game. Let me. It's all about fun. It's all about enjoying. Like, let me see, let me get my body to the next level. Let me get my income to the next level. Then when I get there, let me enjoy that plateau for a little bit. Then I'm going to start to get bored of that plateau. Then what's the next challenge that I'm going to do? What's the next exciting project that I'm going to work on? What's the next thing that's going to keep me enjoying life and excited to wake up and motivated and having that quality of life?